we didn't need, a net handicap situation to know that Scottie Scheffler was the best player all year.
Fore-play, presented by Barstool Sports. We are live. I guess it's coming out after Labor Day, but it is Labor Day. So happy Labor Day to everyone that's out there. Happy Labor Day to you guys. We're recording this on Monday. We got some golf to talk about. We got some things to promote. We got some videos coming out. We've got 2 heated, I think, matches that are coming out this week from everything that I've understood. We've got the finale round from the RV trip. I think that's coming out today. Is that right, Bush, on Tuesday?
Yep.
And we've got, I think, a Frankie Francis death match is kind of what I heard went down out there.
Yeah, Francis called me out after we finished our final round at Sutton Bay in South Dakota. The comments on the YouTube page and the Rumble page are out of control. The fact that people no one ever knew where this golf course was, if it existed, how it existed. And so it's really cool that we got to highlight this place. And we had to play kind of in overcast conditions. And once we finished, the sun kind of peaked out. It was twilight time. Everything started to get very golden. Golden hour started to rise upon us. And Francis looked at me. He's like, we'd be fucking insane not to go out and try and play another 9 holes. We were exhausted at this point. We had been, traveling from Iowa to South Dakota, Nebraska, wherever we were going from. We just played 18 holes in grueling conditions of you're in a death match already is what it felt like. And I was like, come on, dude, there's no way I'm going out and playing another 9. And he just gave me that look like you're a pussy. And then I had to. So yeah, there was a lot of animosity going into that one because I was kind of pissed off having to play him. And it was an amazing match. I felt like I was in the fucking Ryder Cup on the second hole. Every single shot, we were going shot for shot. Fairway, iron to 10 feet, iron to 10 feet. And birdie. It was crazy. It was nuts. I mean, Trent was there. Trent drove along and watched.
Yeah, it was a great match. For the first couple holes, Jerry and I just pitter-patted around. We were playing behind him, so we had the course to ourselves, which was fun. But then, yeah, probably a few holes into the match, we pulled up, and Jerry and I had been laughing and joking and having a good time, and we pulled up and we were like, all right, we got to pull the reins back a little bit here because we walked into a situation that was different than the one we were playing in. And yeah, it's an intense match. It's 2 good golfers too. Frankie, obviously, anybody who's been watching the channel, Frankie's been playing incredible golf, and Francis, who lost his game for a little while, has now gained it all the way back. So they're very evenly matched golfers, and that's always fun to watch. You just go out there head to head, see what happens. And yeah, I really hope people watch it because it is a really fun and really intense match.
So that's the finale. So that should be out today as you listen to this on Tuesday. And then the Hater series is back. I think Friday is when we're going to put out episode 2 of the Hater series. The whole premise, people don't recall, is that probably nobody in the history of the internet gets more hate for their golf game than I do. And so we said, fuck it. If you're going to hate on us, we will pay for your flights. We'll put you up in a nice hotel. We'll get a tee time at a great golf course. We'll provide the camera crew, and we'll see if you can do it on camera and defeat me. We play straight up. We try to find people that are single-digit handicaps. I believe the guy that I played, Alex, on Friday was a 2.1 handicap index at the time. We played TBC Boston, where they just finished the LPGA event this past weekend, and they were all gearing up. We had the Barstool Classic there 2 weeks ago, I think, or 3 weeks ago is when we were there filming. So a lot of TBC Boston action. Tiger Woods is one there. It's a fantastic golf course. The staff is awesome there. It's top notch, and we played a match there. So the Hater series will be returning on Friday, and then we've got President's Cup merchandise. Frankie's got the hat on. I've got this bad boy on. I got to be honest, this drop is one of the coolest drops we've ever done. This has got the President's Cup logo over on the sleeve here. We got 3 or 4 different hoodies, some incredible t-shirts, some hats that the one Frankie, we kind of went a little bit retro, but President's Cup merchandise will be dropping on Wednesday. That is the 4th of September, which is insane to say. Wednesday, 4th of September at 10 a.m. Eastern online. You're going to be able to get President's Cup gear. And
these ones are awesome too.
Phenomenal drop. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Everything's so old school. I don't even know why I'm wearing this one to promote it because this hat I'm wearing is going to sell out within seconds. I mean, I put it up as a sneak peek on my Instagram story, and we can see analytics of how much a story gets shared or whatever. And the share is not really that much. You could put up an awesome story. It'll get shared 8, 10 times, sometimes 20 times. Oh shit, people are sending this in DMs. I put up that hat. It got shared 1,000 times.
What?
Like, it was 4 digits worth of shit. Oh yeah, 1,000 times for a hat.
Digits.
It was
comma.
Yeah,
comma in there?
yeah. We were talking 4 digis for this thing. So, I mean, it's gonna go fast, and we've got a lot of good stuff. I got a whole box here. Oh, you're wearing this. This is the. I don't even know if you're showing. Oh yeah, there you go. It's tricolored, red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That thing's so
unbelievable piece. The just the integrity of it. That we have all these merch meetings with our team, our amazing team, and one of the things that always blows our mind is just how much we've upped the quality of our merchandise. You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Yeah.
We've long are the days that we just threw logos on just like the cheapest T-shirt that we could find just to try and make a buck or two. It's like, we're really putting a lot of effort and money into these things. The hats are supreme quality. The hoodies are supreme quality. The crew necks are on these like comfort, like you could feel the stitching, and you just know it's an amazing. Look at how it just like it doesn't like break.
So
it doesn't
cozy,
give.
stretchy.
It's so cozy, and the inside have like that really, really soft feel to them. It's amazing. They've done a great job.
Dare I say, even the tags are awesome. Like, this is like, this with the President's Cup logo, and then it's got our logo on the back. Like, even the tags are awesome. So the gear is great. This launch, this drop, I'm pumped about. President's Cup's coming. It's later this month up in Montreal. We're going to be up there for a big part of it. We're kind of President's Cup guys. I know we've sat here and been like the Ryder Cup, what can the President's Cup do to get up there? President's Cup do to get up there and rival the Ryder Cup? But we went to frickin' Melbourne. We flew around the world to go to the Ryder Cup, which that place turns out to just be like USA South kind of in terms of culture. They're just into the same thing we are, and it was fantastic. And then we went to Charlotte for 2 years ago at the President's Cup, where it was at Quail Hollow, and then we're going to be going up in Montreal. So we're just big President's Cup people at this point.
It's a great event.
It's a great event. We'll be up in Canada. So yeah, get your gear. President's Cup's coming. It's going to be a fantastic time. If you haven't, go look at the event that we are doing with the Good crew in November. The Battle for Palm Beach, 3 days, all kinds of rounds of golf, all kinds of fun activities that are going to be going on. Partnered up with Troon for that one at PGA National, which is an iconic spot down in Palm Beach. So we'll be down there for like 3 days. So that's coming up. We got Barstool Classics. I think we got Philly is the day that this podcast is coming out. And then Louisville is also this week. So there's all kinds of Barstool Classics rolling on. There's just a lot of shit going on.
I'm getting back on the road, driving to Philly tomorrow morning. I got a bunch of my degenerate psychopath friends coming over today for a fantasy draft that I got to get ready for. I got a big crew rolling into this house around like 5 p.m. They won't leave until 2 a.m. and I got to be on the road by 4 a.m. to try and make it for that registration time.
This episode is presented by Chevy. Get the crew together and head off to the course in the new 2024 Chevy Traverse. I saw one of these bad boys actually this weekend driving through the parking lot, and it was a head turner. Everyone was looking at this thing. It was shiny. It was a nice like gray silverish color. The lights were popping, right? It's all like the new technology on this bad boy. It's fantastic looking.
I want to not normalize or bring back or just hype up. Riding to the course with the boys is really a special experience. And you need a big car to do that. But you start talking about, I'm really feeling this, on my chipping. I'm starting to really, you hype it up before the round. You need a place to build that sort of hype and community. And a big vehicle like the Chevy Traverse is a perfect place to do it.
Getting things in your car, being able to fill up the car. I've been saying this a lot. And when we talk about Chevy, it's just because it hit home. I used to be the guy that couldn't fit anything in his car. And I always felt like I was the one driving friends. And then it was always like, oh my God, like we got to get another car here. We can't fit the clubs and the people, like got to order an Uber. So you felt so inferior to like everyone else. Like, you're just like, I have a tinier car than everyone. It's just like, I can't fit anything. I don't have a third row. I don't have nice like trunk space. That's stuff that is valuable as you grow up. And like things start, like you start doing remodelings on your house, or you want to go pick up stuff that, for your backyard, you need space. When you're a child, you don't need space. Space is already there for you. As you grow up, you need to generate your own space. And that also happens in the car. And the Traverse has space. It's like one of their main features is space.
They got a standard best-in-class 17.7-inch diagonal color touchscreen among three-row SUVs. It's best in the class. AutoSense powered liftgate Traverse has elevated the tech game. Head over to Chevy.com/Traverse to build your own and learn more. That is Chevy.com/Traverse. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Philly's a great city. So is DC. I just got, before we get into all the golf talk, I know we're doing a lot of promotion, but we just finished our Pup Punk tour. We do these rock shows at Barstool Sports. Somehow, some way we put on rock shows that we pack out every single venue that we go to. People sing the songs back to us, even originals. My Real Girlfriend, I think, has surpassed 1 million plays on Spotify, and every single person in the crowd knows it. I mean, I'm telling you, like we're throwing the mic out to the crowd, and they're like, "She's a model," you know. It's nuts. It's fucking crazy. So that's really cool. And then we obviously play all the hits, and we've just gotten so like we play 27 songs in Philly for like 2 hours and 15 minutes straight, and people don't even go to the bathroom.
Have to learn all of those. Like, how does I don't know shit about playing live music. Do you have to? How many of those songs do you know, and how many of them do you have to like learn for each show?
We've played I'd say 25 to 30 shows already in our life. So we've played those songs 25 to 30 times. Like, we really don't practice. We'll do a sound check.
So
we'll get into the city. No, we add. So like we probably started with 14 songs and now we're like getting close to 30. I mean, the Foo Fighters only play like 18 songs at a show. You know what I mean? Like, we're playing 26. It's a lot. It's a lot of music to learn, but we have Caroline singing. We got Roan singing. I sing a couple now. So it's nice to space it out, but I just want just the crowds are just it's just so cool. Like we do all this golf stuff, and Trent kind of experiences this sometimes with Chicks in the Office. He definitely experiences it. He gets fucking bras thrown at him and they sell out huge arenas, huge, like 2,000 seat venues in New York City and Boston. It's amazing. And just like, it's just different to see the people screaming and smiling as opposed to like going out to a golf course where they're like, oh, I hope he doesn't miss this putt or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just a different, everything almost seems like negative on a golf course. And then when you go to a venue like this, everyone's happy. Every single person there is having the time of their life. Like, I never want to stop doing that. I almost want to just like go for the music dream now. You know what I mean? I want to keep chasing that high.
I do find when I do the Chicks in the Office live shows, I'm surprised that there's a positive side of the internet. You know? Like,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And you are right, like, golf fans are just different than screaming pop culture Chicks in the Office fans. Like, it's just different. But you are, whenever I go out to those shows or I'm meeting people after or whatever, and it's like, oh wow, these people, like, they're really, really, really into this. And it's essential at a crowd at a pop punk show and a Chicks in the Office show. Yeah, it is nice to see, you know, that there is some positivity in the internet world, I suppose.
DC shocked me. Washington, DC, I thought was going to be a dud of a show. I thought, like, no one lives there really. Like, it's a touristy city. It's a work city. Everyone's in government that works there. They're not, like, on a Friday night, they're not staying around and going to the wharf area. Like, that's just going to be tourists that don't even know the show's going on. And when we went onto the stage, it was fucking crazy. And it was by far, I thought, up until the Philly show, was the best crowd we've ever had. It was incredible. We didn't want to get off the stage. We were like, we kept playing more songs that we were trying to remember. Like, we were like, oh, like PFT would come to my drum set. He's like, do you remember this? And I'd be like, sure. Like, from like the second show we ever played, let's just play it. And we just kept going and going and going. And then we got on a bus and drove to Philly like we were a fucking like a rock band. And then we did another show. Pack-back shows was nuts. But anyway, I'm going back to Philly tomorrow. We've got the Barstool Classic. I'm excited for it. Can't wait to get there. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Did you guys do some Oasis?
I sang an Oasis song. I sang "Don't Look Back in Anger," and it went like surprisingly very well.
Fantastic.
That's incredible.
Like, yeah. Robbie Fox's brother, Mickey Fox, is like, I've never seen someone have so much influence on a younger brother. Like, everything that Robbie Fox is because of his brother, and it's the coolest thing ever because Robbie Fox is the coolest guy ever.
Yeah,
like, he's so passionate about wrestling and Star Wars and comic books and Batman and music and like the best music, Oasis and the Beatles and Green Day and All Time Low and old school rock and roll, and his brother just oozes it out of him. He's a rock star. He used to set up Tommy Lee's drum set in Motley Crue. Like, he traveled with like Jay-Z and set up his drum set at Yankee Stadium for a Jay-Z Beyonce concert. Like, he fucking was in a band. He had all the face paint and the long hair. He's just, so he comes with us and he sets up my drum kit now and helps me and plays a couple songs. When I go up and sing, he'll play Wagon Wheel. Now he plays Don't Look Back in Anger. And he's just, it's like it's embarrassing when he gets on the kit when I'm up there, because it's just, look how much better this guy is. That you're about to hear a shift in the drums, a huge shift.
Dude, I was living with Robbie Fox when he got the Oasis bug, because I think there's a documentary on Netflix about the Oasis brothers, and I watched like a bomb explode in Robbie Fox's brain when we were watching that documentary. And whenever he was in the shower, I would hear him listening to Don't Look Back in Anger and all those great Oasis albums. And obviously then he became a fan after they broke up, and the biggest thing in Robbie Fox's life was like, I want to see Oasis get back together. And the fact that it's now happening is stunning. Like, I like Oasis, I like the hits, the albums are great, that's very good music, but Robbie Fox is like a fanatic. And the fact that he got tickets, I saw he posted on his Insta story, and he's going to go over the pond and see those two brothers perform. Those concerts are going to be legit pandemonium, and I'm very happy for it.
If you want like hilarious clips to go through, you can go through a crazy deep dive of Liam Gallagher. Just Liam and Noel are very, very funny guys, but Liam is one of the funniest people that's ever walked this earth. Yes. His interviews are so good. You have to go back and watch like the best of Liam Gallagher. The way he responds to people's questions, he calls other bands students, fucking students. Like, calling someone a student is like as disrespectful as it gets. Like, basically saying they just sit in the classroom and watch him fucking play. And he says that about incredible bands. Like,
oh yeah,
they'll be like, oh, what do you think about like this band? He's like, fucking students. Like, it's just like, holy shit,
dude. The Manchester accent is elite too.
It's elite. And if you go back, I recommend, I wish I hadn't had the name of the documentary. I'll get it before we're done here. But people are probably, you're getting older now, and this was a long time ago when Oasis was at their peak. But you watch that and you watch the shows that they sold out. We're talking like 200,000 people, like 3 nights in a row. They're just ripping it. And it's so cool. And the brothers, they fucking hate each other, and it's just so much fun.
There's one show that Robbie Fox was talking about last night that they played for 150,000 people at some place, and they had 7,000 people on their guest list.
Yes.
It was like the most preposterous guest list of all time. 7,000 guest list. Like, so that's just, you don't know, like, that's anyone that's associated with anyone that knows anyone that was getting on some sort of list that just got into that show. They just didn't give a fuck. But I really laughed at their final show was in Paris, and they got into a huge fight. The two brothers hated each other, and I guess like Liam went out like right before, like 5 minutes before the show, and just went up to Noel's to all of his guitars and just smashed them in front of the whole entire crowd and walked off. And then the curtains closed, and a huge sign in French just said, like, due to an altercation, Oasis has been like canceled. Please go home. Like, the band has broken up. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And then they've never played together ever since. You have full 80,000 people just waiting for the show. They watch the guy come out, smash the guitar, leave, and they're like, oh my God, like, we have to go home now. They're pure comedy. So Robbie's actually really stressing about, they have like 310 days until the show. They might just not even make it to that. Like, they're going on their first vacation right now. They haven't seen each other in 15 years, whatever it is. He's like, there's no chance I'm going to that show. They're definitely breaking up. So good.
Supersonic is what it's called. I just looked it up.
Yes.
Great. Yep.
So good.
Watch it. Great documentary.
I'm going to download that one for the flight. I've never seen it. I feel like we've talked about it a handful of times too, and I've never seen that one. So, all right. It is insane that we have a rock band at Barstool Sports, and that Frankie's like part of the rock band. So.
Always.
Like, fucking crazy.
Insane.
When Barstool starts a debate team, I'll be fucking first one out there.
Yeah.
There you go. What would be your strongest topic to debate?
It's FedEx Cup.
Oh.
FedEx Cup or Israel-Palestine politics. I'll be a fucking menace on the mic.
Yeah, I feel like you've got some Premier League takes. You know, I feel like you could go. You could go deep there.
United. If we're talking about Manchester. You know, I believe Oasis are Man City fans, so they're scum. But yeah, Man United's in a really bad spot. They got embarrassed by Liverpool. It was actually one of those times where soccer is really interesting because you kind of have to decide if you're going to like. There's this bar down the street that shows all the Man United games, and I go there quite a bit. But like, if you're going to go to a bar and watch soccer, you're going to drink a couple beers. And so the game's at like 8 a.m. I got to decide, like, they're probably going to lose, right? Do I want to go to this bar, drink 2 beers at 8 a.m, or do I want to play golf? And I decided last minute, my friends convinced me to go out there and play golf, and United were down 2-0 after like 25 minutes. So I made the right decision. I was like,
great call.
You can imagine me just being in a bar right now, like vaguely hungover, and my friends are on like the 8th hole, and I'm like, fuck.
Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, and we are talking about Game Time Picks. Game Time Picks is the new feature. We love getting out to live events. We talk about it all the time. We talk about live events that Frankie was actually participating in and delivering for the people on this show, whether it's a concert, football game, comedy show. We always use Game Time, which is the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. You know how much we love Game Time, and now their brand new Game Time Picks feature, they're making it even easier to get to a game. Game Time Picks is simple. It filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of ticket options. I'm looking Vikings at the Giants. You just hit GT Picks right here on the top, and then I'm looking at maybe 15 different options right here. That keeps it very simple. It shows me the map of the stadium. If you want to be right down there, basically on the field, $313. You want to be a little bit higher up, they got tickets for under $150. So Game Time's got all of the options. Just pull up your chosen event, turn on the GT Picks setting at the top of the screen, or browse the best local Game Time Picks deals near you on Game Time app homepage. We love Game Time. We love going to events. This is an events-friendly show. I think we love going to events on this show.
We love events. And I was in Philly with Roan. It was a homecoming show when we played Pup Punk, but he was talking to me about he wanted to go to the Phillies game that Sunday after. So he went last night, and he was literally on Game Time in the green room behind the stage looking at tickets for him and his buddies. And then I saw last night he went to the game. Nick Castellanos hits a double, the 2-run score. They tie the game in the 6th, and then he hits another game-winning base hit in the bottom of the 11th. Philly fans are going nuts. It was a huge win over Atlanta. Like that's a great Sunday for him and his pals at the ballpark. Like they win in extra innings. They got tickets last minute the night before while he was at a show. So that's just how easy it is. He literally scoured he glanced at the app and got 5 tickets right there on the spot. Easy.
Just download the Game Time app today. It's simple. Use the code FORE, which is FORE, to easily secure and score great deals with the new Game Time Picks. What time is it? It's game time. Use our code FORE. I'm surprised you weren't at home glued to, this dramatic finish at Eastlake with all the different scenarios playing out.
It's a tough one. I really do kind of feel for the PGA Tour because they tried so hard, and you have to do that. I'm not saying that they you try things. That's what life's about. I'm sure you guys on this podcast have tried things and they don't really work or whatever, and then you kind of move along. It's just that's kind of the life cycle of things. That's how the world works.
Yeah,
and I think when they made this playoffs, it was an impressive idea. It was very ambitious. There was so much more money than anyone had ever seen in golf. And that money thing, they've just been completely cucked by the Saudis when it comes to money. $20 million. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw all this stuff about how much money Scottie made this year, which is insane. $62 million. It's probably like half of what Jon Rahm made this year. So the money stuff just isn't really a differentiator anymore. And, things just have a life cycle. And I think the FedEx Cup playoffs, at least certainly the Tour Championship, they have to change. They have to change. It's just not really working anymore, and it's not that it wasn't the right result. Scottie's been the best player all year. I totally get that, but we knew that at the beginning. We didn't need a net handicap situation to know that Scottie Scheffler was the best player all year. So if you're not really deciding who's the best player all year, because I saw Xander finished 5th, I think, or 5th or 6th, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th combined for 0 wins this year. So it's like, what do we it's just like a thing that exists that doesn't really mean anything anymore.
When you put it into the perspective of how much Jon Rahm made this year, it's such a fucking joke. Like, think about Steph Curry just signed like the biggest contract in NBA history. Was it like $60 million or something he extended for?
Yeah.
How much more valuable Steph Curry is to bringing in money for his organization than Jon Rahm is. And this is no hate on Jon Rahm. It's just golf just doesn't reach that many people. Steph Curry is an icon across the entire globe. They're buying his jerseys. He's selling out arenas. He's on the Olympic team. He's like he's in front of the TV. You turn on TV, Steph Curry's there. LeBron James is there. And you got a guy, Jon Rahm, who's playing in front of nobody. They're doing nothing on LIV. Like even the PGA Tour is really doing nothing in their events, right? We always talk about it's just the majors. The fact that these guys are making this money comparable to the other sports is nuts. Like golf is leading the world in yearly salaries now. That's fucking hard to wrap your head around. No one watches it comparable.
Well, it's also
nobody watches.
It's a bubble.
It's illogical. Is the thing your brain is hitting is illogical because the Saudis saw a sport that they could buy and they bought it. It wasn't like, look at the growth of this sport and how many people are watching. That's a good investment. It was, this is a sport that isn't as popular as the others. And if we just dump all of the money that not all the money we have, but way more than they're making, we can own it and we'll get some of their biggest players. It's not based in fact and logic. It's just based in, we can buy that. So it's ours now. And it throws off the entire ecosystem.
I can basically guarantee that the Creator Classic, which you guys so aptly kicked off, I definitely outdrew like whatever LIV event will happen this week, just in terms of social conversation, in terms of viewership. You can't just throw money at something and expect it to. That's the thing. Like with the NBA, with these salaries, they've crept up every single year, and it's there's a math problem, right? It's like there's some sort of revenue agreement between the players and the owners, and whatever they bring in from their media business and from their ticket sales, which are immense. There's 82 games and there's 18,000 people, and a courtside seat is $2,000 or whatever it is, and they split that money up, and the best players get a certain percentage that is negotiated with the labor union, and it's very above board. And then you've just got these golfers who just whatever you can get it. And we're about to kick off another cycle of that. Like we saw last year. Let's not forget, there was the framework agreement in June. The PGA Tour season ended, and then pretty soon thereafter, you started hearing the Jon Rahm rumors. And we're going to start hearing rumors again soon because, I think Rory was very pointed in his message this week where he said, there seem to be some people who just aren't really gung-ho about getting a deal done. I think he said anyone who's concerned about golf or concerned about the PGA Tour moving forward has to be frustrated. And the Saudis I'm sure they're not enjoying this. They've got so many other things that they want to do. The last thing they want to do, I think, is like be going to these meetings, and they made this agreement. They're like, let's just take our money. Let's do this. I think they're gonna, what they can do to strengthen their position is to do exactly what they did last year and go after a Victor Hovland or someone like that. They're gonna come again. Their season wraps up in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is. As soon as that's over, they're gonna come again for some of the PGA Tour's best players. And I'm afraid that our sport, absent a deal, will continue. I don't think the ratings will be good for the FedEx Cup playoffs. And so we're in this really weird spot where the ratings aren't super good, but the money's higher than it's ever been.
Yeah, a couple things for me. It's like I think that originally when we were so skeptical of LIV and the intentions behind it is not just because people wanted to come after players, not just because people wanted to call them greedy, but because of what we're saying right now, which is like it just from a dollars and cents standpoint, from a return on investment standpoint, no one could see how it made any sense. And these are smart, very wealthy people who do things that make sense financially. So then you had to instantly go to what nefarious reasons are they doing it if it's clearly not to get a return, and it's not. Nobody's watching it. There's no money. And so I think that's why we were so skeptical early on, and clearly that's worn off. But I think that unless they end up getting this leverage and getting some kind of deal done where now Yasser truly is foot in the door, seat at the table, one of the most powerful people in the world, which it definitely might end that way, that could be a reason to spend all of that money. But otherwise, you do have to look at like what nefarious reasons are they doing it. And then the second point is the money that's going into the PGA Tour. When I saw that from Scottie Scheffler and the payout that Scottie Scheffler got and making $60-something million, that is real money. Like somebody's paying that. FedEx is paying that. And so then it makes me wonder, like, what are they basing that off of? Like, if I'm running that business, I cannot imagine that FedEx is getting a return of these hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever they're putting in to this product that we're one of the biggest golf podcasts in the history of the world. We're not, I mean, I can't justify for anybody to be watching that golf over the weekend, over whatever the hell you were doing over Labor Day weekend. I cannot imagine on Sunday when everybody's out having barbecues or you're on the lake, or you're playing golf yourself or whatever you're doing, that a better time spent would be like Scottie's got a 5-shot lead over second place. Collin's got a 3-shot lead over third place. And it's like they're not playing for anything interesting at all. And this is the tour's biggest event. And they're playing for $25 million. Where, who's paying that? Why are they paying that? Who, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't, I don't comprehend it.
Yeah, it also, like, there's just something about 30 under that's just a bit Mickey Mouse. And I understand obviously that it was the 10 under start, right? But like, you just don't want to see 30 under, right? You just don't.
Nope.
And that's another thing too, is like the redo, you know, the guys were talking about early in the week how difficult the course was going to play and how firm the greens were. 11 out of the 30 guys were 13 under par or better. You had 3 guys at 20 under par or better. And you know, it's a classic push and pull between, you have the architecture wonks who, and I agree on a lot of this. The course looks way more fun to play now than it did before, like just from an everyday perspective.
I went out on I had a great day Thursday, which we don't get to do this at tournaments very often because we're kind of in, out, we're busy, we're feeling stressed, like we got to get this or that, and then we kind of leave by Wednesday night or Thursday morning. But Thursday I just went out and I just walked the first, I think, 12 holes before I had to go to the airport with Rory-McIlroy and Ludwig, and like, it was delightful. The course was sick. The views, and they did all the cool stuff that they're doing now where they mowed, like a lot of the greens were even mowed all the way up into the next tee box. The tight edged, like mowing of all the bunkers. It was way cooler than I remember watching it on TV. But you are right that I just looked it up. Like in 2018 when Tiger won, he was the only player double digits under par, and they all started at even par that week. He was the only player. He was 11 under. I mean, 5 under got you like T7, and you're saying everybody was basically double digits under par. And so, so you're right, but it is a sick. Like, I was impressed by just the overall golf course, but as a fucking amateur weekend golfer, not necessarily.
This is why I've sort of come around on the rollback, is because like the way to make golf courses hard right now for the pros is just like long, rough, and trees. It just like kind of is like, and. You know, I was excited when I heard all the guys talk about how difficult East Lake was going to be. But when you take out trees, these guys are so good and they hit the ball so fucking far that they're going to find a way to get it up by the green. And then when you have fairway all around the greens, they have their full arsenal of shots and they're just going to nip one really, really tight. So that's why I'm sort of behind it. Like, I understand it now, is because like that aesthetic of golf is, and from a viewer's perspective, it's not that fun to watch. But that's what's necessary to challenge these guys, unless you have like a Pinehurst number 2 and you have just this incredible whatever layout. But like, we saw it with the BMW. Like, there was a lot of water. The rough was really long, and then the winning score there was like 12 under. And so that's kind of what you need. And so these like awesome golden age layouts that don't have a lot of trees and they have a lot of fairways and like you said, the greens kind of run. They're just like, they can't really challenge the pros because they're just too good at this point.
Yeah, they were just lighting it up. It didn't look that difficult. I was really bummed out about the 15th hole. I don't care how firm those greens are. They should have had them play it all the way back. That hole went from, you know, what's usually like they pan to you, and they've got the 17th hole at TBC Sawgrass, except it's 235 or something over water the whole time. And now this year it was like 155 down the hill for these guys. I went and stood out there. I was like, all right, this doesn't even, I mean, I'm not the best golfer. It doesn't look that hard. And then sure enough, you get in the footage, they're like hitting pitching wedge in there. So I get that they firmness and they had deemed that it wasn't going to really be doable, hitting long irons into that. But yeah, I don't know what else you can really say about the tournament when there's just no juice. There was no juice whatsoever. The only thing that had juice was just the number. People just tweeting out the number. How much money Scottie Scheffler made this year, how much he made yesterday. Even Collin finishing second was like $17.5 million for finishing second place in that event. And so they're just kind of talking about the money, but the rest of it, yeah, it's just not that exciting. And we talked as much as we were hyped up about Castle Pines last week. And I thought for something that, it's the second to last playoff event, it's not inherently going to be that exciting. Was awesome with the finish and with Keegan and how cool the course presented itself. It's right next to the sanctuary, which is like, so we've kind of played in a course that's got the similar look and aesthetic and views. This was kind of the other way where it just was like, I I don't know. I don't know how you got very excited about the tournament this week. With most of our favorite players finished for the year in terms of golf and football season kicking off, it is the perfect time to dive into the action with our partners at DraftKings, the number one place to bet on touchdowns. And it's true. It is go time. All new customers who bet $5 will instantly get $250 in bonus bets, plus get 1 month of NFL Plus premium on us. It is football. College football was all weekend. We had full slate, all kinds of games. We got NFL's coming. There's going to be bigger college football games. You got to have DraftKings and get in on the action.
Did you guys see what my Northwestern Wildcats have done with their stadium this year?
No.
So basically, they're doing like a crazy renovation of their actual stadium, and so they built a temporary stadium on the lake.
Oh, I like that idea.
It just got me really, really fired up about college football. I watched USC beat some SEC ass last night. It was fun.
Is the original stadium like very large?
Yeah, it's like 50,000 people. Look at that, and you can see the skyline in the background. Isn't that sick?
That's better than, what is it, Ryan Field?
Ryan Field's ass, but I think the new one's going to be nice. I think that's the whole
I
point.
would say
But yeah,
Ryan
you're right.
Field,
it's way better than what they had before.
Ryan Field stinks, but I actually like that on the water. I was at the Iowa game this weekend. I went to the Kinnick Stadium and betting the under. It's the time to bet the under. The Iowa Hawkeyes, another season has kicked off. I think the under just barely hit. I know Alex Bush, he was on it all last year, and so was I. So.
It hit by 1.
Yes. So
because they went
looking for
off.
something to bet, the
it looked like it was going to be real under. It looked like it was going to be 3-0 final, and then all of a sudden Iowa just took off. It's like, boy, they almost did it all on their own. Did they shut them out?
Yeah, 40-0.
Oh,
Mizzou had a nice shutout too. I think they won like 51-0 or something like that. All right,
my beloved Auburn Tigers. Sorry, just had to get that in. War Eagle, won by 60-something.
Make sure you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. And reminder, new customers, use our promo code FORE. You bet $5 on any wager. You're going to get $250 in bonus bets and 1 month of NFL Plus premium instantly. That is promo code FORE only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
a lot of people talking about how Collin-Morikawa would have won the tournament, right? He beat Scottie Scheffler from Thursday to Sunday. Would you like to see a different variation of this to go back to like the two winners? Would you want it like you could start Scottie at 10 under? He could win the overall by, because of his start, because of what he ended up accumulating over the year. But then Collin-Morikawa would win with a 22 under. So you'd have two winners. You'd have an East Lake winner, and then you'd have a season long winner. It'd be easier than the point system that used to be in place.
I think they should just completely scrap it, sort of thing. I think you should have the first two playoff events. Yeah. Have the first two playoff events, and then have some sort of staggered match play situation where it's a big deal. Because then you'd have it would be a big deal at the BMW to get into the last, 16, 32, whatever it would be.
Match play. And I think imagine being at East Lake, walking around, watching all these guys prepare for that East Lake. Like they're there for 4 days. There's gonna be a bunch of matches all weekend long. You're at East Lake. You're seeing Shane Lowry putting, and then he's got Ludwig that day, and just that drama, that animosity of I need to beat this guy to move on to play Scottie Scheffler. He's got a bye in the first round. I play Scottie tomorrow if I win this match, and then just each tee time you're sending off just matches and real death matches for tons of money. That is what brings the juice. I would have canceled everything I had on Sunday to watch who gets into that final match, that pairing, and who's playing at 1:30. Scottie Scheffler versus Collin-Morikawa for $20 million, 1v1 mano-a-mano. That is juice. That's juice.
And I think it also, there's a few more benefits to it, which is that's people talk about playoffs, other sport. Playoffs are one team versus another team.
Yep.
That's how playoffs work. And also, when you get these guys in match play, and we were talking about the President's Cup earlier in the Ryder Cup, you see emotion, way more emotion, because a putt on the third hole could be to win the hole or to tie the hole, whereas it's just for par or for birdie. And so I just think that, some sort of situation where you reward the top, whatever it is, two guys, maybe you give the top guy, 2 buys or whatever it is. You come up with some sort of system where the top 16 guys, or even the top 32 if you want to. Yeah, I kind of like 32 or whatever it is. You get 32, and then because right now it's the top 30 make it to East Lake, and all those guys get into the majors. So keep that where making it to the Tour Championship is a really big deal, and like that's a reward for a great season. You're into all the majors next year. You're all good, and then have some sort of situation where the bottom 16, whatever, maybe the top 16 have one by the top 8, whatever it is, but do something different. Just because what's happening right now is just, again, like I said, I don't blame them for giving it a shot. It made sense initially, and I remember when 10 million. I remember when Jim Furyk, I think it was, won the first one, maybe, and he was like going crazy. It was pouring rain. He had just won $10 million, and that was like out of control. Now $10 million just doesn't mean the same. And so I think you make the end of the FedEx Cup, the end of the regular season is a big deal, and you make that into a big deal, and then qualifying for the Tour Championship is a big deal, and then I think to only have one match play, and they've gotten rid of the Dell match play, so there's no match play really on the schedule. It just seems like a no-brainer, and I just want to see Strategic Sports Group do something, and I'm sure they will. But for 2025, they're not really doing anything, and I think the longer this goes on, this was one of the things Rory was talking about. These things take time, and even once they're agreed to, they take time.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we're at the point where like 2026 might be lost soon. Like, if they don't come to an agreement soon enough, they're not going to have time to do everything and make a season. So we're now looking at, you look at some of these, like I was looking at the Wikipedias of like the XFL, these things, like these leagues kind of hung around for like 4 or 5 years. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing is like, there's just going to be this sort of like period. And I do think eventually something will happen, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. And I think the sport will continue to damage itself more and more the longer it takes.
Just do it. Just do it. If you're listening, if you're somehow seeing this or listening to this podcast and you work for the PGA Tour and part of your job is to like come up with ideas, how are you sleeping at night with this finale? How are you not just listening to what everyone on Twitter, podcasts, all these shows, these talk shows, how are you not just changing the format? Change it tomorrow. Change it right now. Send an email. Fix it. Just fix it. It's not that bad. No one's going to, you don't have to be embarrassed. It's just like you said before, Dan, like you can have an idea. It doesn't work. You just move on. Just move on now.
Nothing would make a bigger
splash. Let it happen
Uncle
one more
Colin.
time.
Nothing would make a bigger splash than them coming out today and being like, we're changing the format of the Tour Championship. We're changing it. We know, we heard you guys.
Nuts.
We want to do match play, and that's what we're going to do. People will be like, all right. Because when you listen to people, they're more enticed to watch in the future. They're like, all right, these guys are actually hearing what we're saying, and they want to put a good product out there.
Smart, Uncle Colin Coward always says, smart people change their mind with new information. And I live my life by Colin Coward's words. And we've got some new information. So there you go.
Yeah, and I think that the argument against match play a lot of the times is, that the sponsors and the TV, producers, they want to like guarantee or have a significantly higher chance that like this, and this star will be playing throughout the weekend and playing at time. We saw yesterday, like there was basically nobody playing. It was completely meaningless. It was pointless to watch. There was nothing. They were playing for nothing that was of concern or interest. They were just kind of going through the motions. Yes, it did get tight a little bit, and credit to Scottie Scheffler, who we have to talk about him for kind of tightening the screws once things got close. But like, if you're going to make that argument, you might as well roll the dice with match play, and at least you'll have juice on Thursday. Like the golf group buddies text will be going nuts when you have, Rory against Cantlay as like a Thursday matchup to keep your season alive. Like, are you kidding me? And then if they do survive and get through, you're going to have bigger, better matchups Friday. And yeah, you might get to a point Saturday or Sunday occasionally, which happens in the Dell match play where it's like not the biggest names necessarily, but that's actually going to be kind of unlikely because in order to even get there, you got to do what you have to do to get at East Lake now, which is finish top 30 or 32 or top 16 or whatever they've been settling on. So you're going to have the best players that have played the best throughout the year that are going to be the biggest stars. And you're probably going to way more often than they clearly have with this format, have an incredible finish, a lot of social clips, somebody making a huge putt on Friday to like keep their season alive and knock off one of the other top players. And instead we have none of that, like none of that throughout the entire weekend. And it's just boring.
Every sport has to deal with that. Sure, the MLB would love the Yankees and the Dodgers to make the World Series every year, but sometimes you might get the Brewers versus the Rays, and like that like you're just going to get lower market, worse teams or whatever it might be, and that could happen in golf also. But that's the risk you have to take. because that's just the way sports work. So, I mean, every other sport deals with that. Oh shit, we would have made way more advertising money if the bigger markets got in. But like, this is the playoffs. Like, anyone can get in, and that's why people watch. And that's why people watch the first round so much more, because every team is in. Like you're saying, Thursdays have way more meaning now. Every single player that deserves to be in the playoffs is playing on that day, just like in the MLB, NHL, NBA, whatever it might be. By the end, sure, a team that doesn't have that many fans might get through, but we're not watching it anyway. There's zero right now.
Right. And one of the other arguments that people say is like, well, match play, you get unlucky and go up against a guy that shoots 64 one day, whereas somebody else went up against the guy that shot 71 and he gets to advance. And that's exactly, you're like, okay, you can play the Chiefs one night when they play horrible and you fucking dust them. And then the next week you play, it's like, that's just how sports work. That's how playoffs work. So you cannot call it playoffs if you're not going to have an actual playoff format.
I want to put Frankie Borelli in these meetings, and just when a point like that comes up, he just goes, sport. That's sport. It's sports.
Sport.
It's
like
sports.
Arms up in the air.
Not sports.
Hey,
singular.
Sport.
That's sport.
That's sport. The Tampa Bay Lightning were the President's Cup trophy winners, and they lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets. They got swept by them.
They got swept. And then they won back-to-back cups after
so
that.
it's like anything could happen.
Dude, and that creates potentially more storylines. You can potentially get a David versus Goliath. You can get these different things. It's not just like, oh, we're getting these two guys that nobody really follows. Those can turn into storylines. It seems like a no-brainer to me, and unfortunately what that means is they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And also, like, if we look back, like some of the best events that have done like the best numbers this year were that sort of, like Nick Dunlap, I remember, was like a huge ratings boom, because that was like some guy that no one had ever heard of, a college kid was winning a PGA Tour event. And you also get the chance for like some rivalries to brew a little bit. Someone didn't give a putt. There's just always spicy shit that happens in match play. So hopefully they listen. They won't, but hopefully they do.
They have to.
Does feel like we're locked in for like several more years of that, like
it's
no
definitely
matter what.
2025 is going to be the same thing. We're going to do this again next year. They're in a weird spot where it's like,
that's crazy, man.
The people who are losing are the fans, because the players I gotta think are like, yeah, obviously they want to give a good show, but like, Russell Henley made $5 million yesterday. I don't think he's, everyone on the PGA Tour is richer than they've ever been, so I don't know that there's like a crazy internal pressure if the system keeps going. I don't know.
Well, hopefully they change it, because that wasn't it. And if you look at like, dude, the scene, I know it required Tiger Woods, but like the scene 6 years ago when Tiger won versus like the scenes that we've seen pretty much ever since, and the lack of just drama, it's like, I think I'm just going to shut it down after the British Open every year. I think that's, just shutting it down. Like pro golf, I'm out until there's a team event, either the Ryder Cup or the President's Cup. And then we'll fire it back up when they go to Hawaii and they start showing the whales at Kapalua and the whole deal. But I don't know how you just get that fired up for that kind of product right now. And like I said off the top, I don't know where the money comes from. I don't know who's justifying paying all of that. I don't know how there's a return and all that. And I don't know how there's two leagues that are doing it, let alone one. It's time to have fun. Summer is kind of like wind it down. Fall, we talk about that a good amount on the show. You don't have to like blow your budget, go make a trip, because you can forget a vacation. You can take a tequila-cation, which we've been doing a lot this entire year, from the spring all the way through the summer and now into the fall, with the new Truly Tequila sodas at the Barstool Classic and all over the place throughout this great year. Refreshing blend of real fruit juice from concentrate, sparkling water, and premium tequila blanco. It has been the drink of the summer, and you're going to continue to make it the drink of the fall. They got 4 refreshing flavors: lime, pineapple, guava, grapefruit, and watermelon, all with 5% ABV and just 100 calories. The new Truly Tequila sodas throughout this whole year have been a smashing hit.
Phenomenal. My dad and my father-in-law, they played in the Barstool Classic here on Long Island. Huge success, amazing stuff at Colonial Springs as always. My dad and Don they're not the biggest fans of carbonated, like malt liquor type of drinks. No matter what the brand is, they just never really tried them. It's like that old school, like they don't know what this new stuff is. I told them, this year when you get to the Barstool Classic, you're going to try these new tequila sodas from Truly. I'm telling you right now, it's going to change your viewpoint on these types of drinks. And they tried it. I'm telling you right now, my father-in-law went and got like as much as he could get for the house. Like he's like, they sent me a picture. It's just like stacked in his like little like man cave room. That has all his like drinks and all of his golf clubs. He loves them. It's like he doesn't have to mix his drinks anymore. It's just right there. The truly tequila sodas. It's all right there for him. He loves all the flavors. It was amazing to watch their mind and their eyes just open up to this new world. They're that good. They really they took another level. They're like on another level now. You guys got to try them. It's like it's the best in the market. It's really good.
They are very, very good. People loving them all year long. We've been to, hell, we've had 20 events, I think, at this point, and people just rave reviews. So try them out. Truly Tequila Soda. Keep it light. Hard Seltzer Beverage Company, Boston, Massachusetts. Please drink responsibly.
It is also like the big number that people are saying is the $62 million that Scottie made. I look at that and I'm just like, cool. Good for him. That guy's just got a bunch more money.
He also
now. Like,
earned
what the
it.
fuck
Though.
is that? That doesn't matter to me.
What a year he had. Like that he earned $62 million. He didn't just sign a check and just goes and plays like 7 events and travels the world and gets that money. He earned that. He won a ton of fucking golf events, ton of top 10s. Well, he had an amazing year. He had as good of it. He had a historically good PGA Tour year.
Great.
And he deserves the most money.
The record for lowest scoring average in the season. I think it was 68.01 is the lowest ever scoring average. He led the tour in strokes gained overall. Obviously, strokes gained tee to green, strokes gained approach, distance from the edge of the fairway, greens and regulation percentage, approaches from 150 to 175, 50 to 125. He led it in approaches from over 100 yards, front 9 scoring, back 9 scoring. He was second in early wave scoring and first in late wave scoring. So it's just he led in birdie average, par breakers, par 4 or better. Just round 1 scoring average, round 2 scoring average, par 4 scoring average, par 5 scoring average. It was dominance all the way around. So if there is one saving grace, imagine what we'd be saying if he didn't win. If like all of this no one watched and it was just like someone else. That was actually he like kind of papered over. It could have been much worse. You could have had someone who like legitimately didn't win a tournament win the FedEx Cup. And that would have been really, really bad.
Right. Somebody could have not won a single gross tournament throughout the entire year and won the entire FedEx Cup, which would have been. How about our guy Sahith was up there? I like seeing that. I like seeing him get a big payday after all that. I think he solo third. Is that what he finished, Dan?
Yeah, solo third, and after calling a penalty on himself, which was admirable.
Out.
Called himself out for something that no one saw. And even if you slowed it down, you couldn't see it. It's amazing the difference between some characters in our game. Like a guy like Sahith who will just call that on himself, even though no one else in the world saw it. And then you've got some, unnamed German man on the senior tour just anchoring his putter every fucking time. And there's levels to this. There's levels to this. I think Sahith. I don't think that he was doing this for this purpose, but I think it was maybe a net positive. I mean, he made so much money this year, and his sort of it might have cost him a few dollars, not a few dollars, but a lot of dollars. But I think growing your sort of fandom and being a good guy, there's a lot of value in that, and I think he's definitely one of the most popular players. And it was good to see also because he I think he finished dead last the week before at the BMW, and he was dealing with some wrist problems, and so he made the President's Cup, which was this big moment in his career, but he was playing like shit. And so it was nice to see him show some good form. And I think people are going to really enjoy watching him in Canada. I think he's just going to continue to grow as a star.
It's wild that he pulled the trigger on saying they did it because even his description of it was like, I thought I saw something in the corner of my eye when I took the club back. Like he wasn't even sure about it. And then the video wasn't even sure about it. So, I mean, it's almost like in court, right? It's like beyond reasonable doubt. Like, or else you're innocent. But for him, it was like, no, even if there was like the slightest bit that there could have happened, I'm going to call myself guilty. That's the difference between golf and I feel like normal society, because you can't risk possibly someone in the crowd being like, wait a minute, did one little piece of sand graze the bottom of that club? It's just not even worth it. Right. Like, but every other aspect of that type of way of thinking, there's no way he would be guilty. No one saw it. He didn't even see it.
Is it possible for an official to step in and be like, we didn't see anything. The video doesn't show anything. So we're not giving you a penalty there.
Like, what if he made a
that could
mistake?
have happened. Yeah, I think that could have. He said that afterwards. He was like, I would have slept a little better if I saw a replay that actually showed some sand moving, so I could know for sure that I cost myself this money for the right purpose. But
that's
why
one of the reasons why we
love our sport.
About $2.5 million.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? 2.5. Yeah. It's that's what is the price of a clear conscience? I guess it just depends who you are as a person.
Could have been a shadow, like something just could have changed visually. No,
but that's I also don't know. We had talked about that's the difference, baby. That's golf. That's the integrity. I don't know how many people in golf do that. I don't know how many people in golf.
Patrick Reed didn't do it in the Bahamas. I'll tell you that much. It's the same exact thing happened, and there was a whole video that showed him just paving that shit. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't know what you're talking about.
that's a man that knows the court system.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. He knows the standard. A different civil case versus criminal case. Yeah. He knows the difference.
Dude, how about when we were hitting our tee shots at the Creator Classic? I think we might have talked about it, but then I saw him again. I saw him a couple times, but Jay Monahan, he was just out there. Bizarre to see him. He talk about just like a lame duck commissioner who has no teeth, has no standing. I know he made a statement about they're still at the table, blah, blah, blah. When I saw him, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that he's the commissioner of the PGA Tour. He's
got no color to him. Like he's got, you know what I mean? It's like all the life and the color and the vibrance has been just sucked out of him. And he does look like a ghost. And the way he talks, he looks like a couple tough years, man. That
couple tough years for that guy.
Yeah. God.
I mean, when he was walking by us at the Creator Classic, it looked like he had one of those ankle bracelets on that like track you where you are to make sure like you're on house arrest or something. Like he was kind of just walking with he was dragging his feet. It was bizarre. It was a bizarre.
I want to know then who's on the other end of that bracelet. Like who's tracking where he goes?
There's someone pulling the string.
Yasser.
Wait, there was actually he wasn't actually wearing a bracelet.
No. He just had that look
he had puppy energy.
He just had that look that someone was controlling his steps.
Right. He has the look of a guy who is not in control of his own life.
He has a Geppetto.
I think we're gonna get some the last season of a Full Swing was Rory, I think, talking a lot about how close he is with Jay Monahan. And I think we're gonna get some guys who feel comfortable in that sort of on that medium. I think we're hear some different stuff. But he's I also something that people aren't talking about enough. He used to work for Fenway Sports Group.
I didn't know that.
So it's a bit of an inside job.
Yeah.
Those are his guys. The guys who are at the wheel. He's a Boston guy. Like he's known those guys forever. Like he is their guy.
We've talked about this for a long time. I mean, this thing's been going on for years now. He just didn't sign up for this. He didn't sign up to be a global political ambassador and having to have table talks with Saudi Arabia and figuring out all this money in a new league popping up. He didn't sign up for that, but he did sign up to be the commissioner of a sports league, which comes with a lot of drama and shit. But I mean, the PGA Tour was kind of cruising as just this country club-esque
milk Tiger Woods.
Yeah, just milk Tiger Woods, go along with Pine Valley and Augusta and just have the best job in sports, probably being the commissioner of the PGA Tour, right? Like the things he got to do. He loves the game of golf. He literally runs golf, and now he's getting tossed onto MSNBC with fucking
it's
crazy political psychopaths.
It literally used to just be all right, I got a big plan. We're going to go. Scottie's going to start 10 under this year at the Tour Championship. And that was my year. I had a great year.
Innovation.
Yes. Good shit.
But it is
and now he's up there and they're like, the 9/11 families aren't coming for your ass.
Right.
What do you think about that? And it's oh man.
It is it is a legacy definer, but you can also it's a moment where you can go one of two ways. You can go the way he did, which was a complete and utter disaster, or you can step up and think of a solution. And people are like, remember when Jay Monahan stepped up and made a deal work and saved the sport of professional golf? And it just didn't happen.
Dude, they lied. I don't know if they lied or whatever. No, that's I shouldn't say they lied, but I'm a little bit angry when I think about it. It's been 15 months is what it's been now since that day. And there were such positive vibes that day. And yes, there was a lot of this is hypocrisy, but at the end of the day, the division was over and all this was going back and everyone thought, okay, Jay Monahan will move aside and there'll be this new, and it's just 15 months later and quite literally nothing's happened. What other CEO for how that was rolled out. And then you're going to give a deadline. The initial deadline was the end of the year 2023, came and went. Then remember they had the fucking gumption to say they were going to be done by the Masters. That came and went. Now he's up there and there's no timeline. There's no timeline. These things are complex. And he says it with a little bit of like, these things take time. Like you should understand that these things take time. Well, then don't tell us that you're going to be done twice. Sometimes
the role of a leader is to take your own hypocrisy and eat it because you need the sport to be better. Like that's sometimes what a leader has to do. You have to fall on the sword and be like, yeah, we're making a deal with the guys that we said we were going to make a deal with. We propped Rory up for a year saying, go against these guys. These are not our friends. Pulled the rug out from under him. And sometimes you got to stand up there and be like, we were wrong. I was wrong. I'm going to eat this, but we're going to move forward and the sport's going to be better for it. He didn't do any of these things. None of them.
I agree. I don't think he's ever really had that moment or that approach. It always comes off like there's just the right amount of like spinning it. And then he kind of he's always got that tone and he's like looking at the people that are asking the questions like, no, you don't get it. Like, obviously this was like the way now. This was the way now. This like, and it's never just like, this was not what we thought was going to be the way and we were wrong. And this outside force was way more powerful than we thought it was going to be. And boy, did we make some bad decisions, but now we're on a great path and we're trying to get over the things that we were hypocrites about. That was definitely a mistake. He's never done that. He's never just like apologized and been that. It always is. He's always kind of looking like, no, like this is obviously, this is it. This is like the smart people understand that this is the way to now go. And you're just like, what? He's always like shielding something. And it's just, I don't know. His presser, I thought, was that like Wednesday or something, was tough. It just wasn't.
It was Wednesday. You knew I don't know why they keep putting him up there when there's nothing to say, and he also, he was in full spin mode talking about like overall impressions versus ratings. Like that's what we make fun of the LIV people about, like trying to fudge the numbers. Like, don't tell us that what our eyes see isn't what our fucking eyes see.
It was almost like he called a press conference and then pleaded the fifth the whole time. Like they're asking him about the framework deal. And he was like, well, we're obviously not going to negotiate in public. And you're like, well, why are you in this press conference? It's your press
They
conference.
also asked him, he announced this whole like fan forward thing. And the one thing I will say is cool is apparently they're doing this new like country specific feed, which is actually, this is a good idea. So give them credit where it's due. Like if you're in Australia, they're going to have, and you can sort of do this. The Masters has had this technology where you can kind of like favorite your own players and create your own kind of broadcast situation.
Yeah.
They're going to do that for international feeds, which is a good idea. So if you're in Australia and you want to watch a lot of Jason Day and a lot of Minwoo Lee and a lot of Adam Scott, like you can Cam Davis, shout out to Cam Davis. I would never forget you. You can do that now. So that's a good idea. But then there was something else he said about like fan forward, this, that. And then someone was like, what does that mean? He's like, I can't really reveal what that means yet. But we have a lot of ideas cooking up. It was like almost like a parody of a suit up there who's just not saying anything.
So Michael Scott, he like has done, he offers people things and then at the end he just doesn't have it. He's like, hey, I have a big surprise for you all. Right? What was it, like Bruce Springsteen tickets or something like that? And at the end he's like, does anyone have those tickets? Oh, I must have lost them. He got everyone together.
Well, the worst is Scott's
got a big surprise at the end of this thing. Well, yeah, Scott's Tots, yeah. But it's so good.
Right.
He's basically turned to Michael Scott. He's just a caricature of like a guy in charge. He's not actually in charge of anything.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know how he's still there. I know like we've talked about that a bunch, but it's like they got to get him. Maybe
because he was executive vice president of fucking Fenway Sports Group before this. These are his
but
boys.
He was like still there before the Fenway Sports Group was a part of it. You know what I'm saying? It was like how has he survived all of this?
Well, at that point, they needed someone to just fall on the sword. You couldn't bring in a new person because it was already so far gone. It was like, you're just going to be the commissioner while this whole thing burns up in flames. Like, just
he might have tenure. If that's the case, if that's the state of this thing, he might have tenure. He might be there forever.
They Cersei Lannistered him. They shamed the shit out of him we were all just booing him. Like, this is insane. You're losing players. You've lost like Bryson and Brooks, and this is getting out of control. He's just like, I don't know. Can't compete.
Riggs, I remember one of the things that you were like really kind of hammered him on, rightfully so, was when after his first press conference after the John Rahm thing, and someone asked him about John Rahm, and you want him to just be like a human and be like, it was really tough losing John. He's a great player. He's the exact kind of guy we want representing the PGA Tour. Instead, he's like, we're focusing on what we can control. Someone asked him again, what's the pathway back? And he's like, I don't really care about those guys. Like, look at what Luke Clanton did this summer. Like, we have new college guys. It's like, no.
Damn.
Don't
It is
do that.
funny
Don't
how
say that.
like the Saudis and Yasser somehow they go largely blameless because they're not beholden to any system. Like we hammered Jay Monahan because he didn't handle this correctly. When the influx of money and the Saudis stepping in, they're the ones to blame. At least they get partial blame, but they don't. Like Yasser doesn't give a fuck about us talking about it on a podcast. Like you think he cares? He's just like, we're doing whatever we want.
No.
I think
It's
there's also
just
another reason why we don't like hammer Yasser, just because like, you know, you want to be the guy who just like
I know,
hammers
but
the
it's
Saudis,
also like
He'll
nonstop.
hammer you.
Nope.
No, I get that, but it's also just like there's two. It's a two-way street here. The PGA Tour got taken over by this rogue LIV, MBS, this whole PIF thing. But we don't really blame them. We're just like, yeah, they threw a bunch of money and the PGA Tour wasn't prepared for it. But the reason you can hammer a guy like Jay is because he's in a system where it's like, fire this guy. And Yasser and them are just like, we don't give a fuck about any of this.
No, right. It's because we're all part of system that is similar in some way to the PGA Tour and Monahan's situation, and we've seen it a tons of times where it's like, no, they could just remove that person and put in someone that everyone kind of feels like could vault things. I mean, hell, we saw it with the frickin' the presidential election, where it's like they removed someone and got someone in there that like injected energy, and it's like all of a sudden that could kind of change things. It's like at least for a little bit, and to have him, like you're saying, the lame duck, Frankie, where it's just like it's low energy, it's like nothing's getting done, nobody's like excited about it, and Dan, I that is exactly what I'm hammering on. Is like he never just addresses things like the human. It's almost like he's always acting like a desk. He's like he is responding to things as the desk of the PGA Tour commissioner, and not as just a human being like, yeah, we would love to get to a point. Like it is clearly devastating for us that Jon Rahm and Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka, who were staples of our tour for a decade, are now not over there. And obviously a big part of the reason that we want to come together is to reunite golf and to get those guys playing against the top guys like Scottie Scheffler that we love having on our tour, and show that. And instead it's like he always addresses those people as like he who must not be named, and he can't even mention them, and he can't even it's like so fucking weird. It's like, dude, everybody else is talking about it all the time, everywhere, all at once, and it's like he's never ever able to address it, even though he calls his own press conferences and is supposed to be addressing stuff. It's just weird, dude. His relationship to this whole thing is fucking weird. Guys, when it comes to getting your haircut, don't go just anywhere. Visit the specialists who live and breathe men's hair at Sport Clips Haircut. Stylists undergo special training to be the experts in men's hair, making them the masters of mullets, the finessers of fades, and the understudies of the undercut. You got to get a good haircut, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Have to.
You gotta.
It's important. If you get a bad one, you're going to get called out.
Yeah, it's
you are going to
part
get
of
called
your
out.
life. A lot of people overlook it. They just, they're doing it in their own bathroom with their own buzzers and stuff. It's like, you don't know what the hell you're doing, man. You don't know what you're doing. You need a professional. You need an expert.
That was me forever. I would cut my own hair, and it's like it makes a difference going somewhere, and they get around your ears. The back looks way better. Just go to Sport Clips, get your hair cut. Like these guys are saying, it's very important. It's more important than you even know. People are going to see you, and if you want to look good, go to Sport Clips.
People are going to see you. You're going to be seen. Make sure it looks good. It's easy to have confidence in your look when you're in the hands of a pro. Just another way Sport Clips helps keep your head and your hair in the game. Go check out Sport Clips. It's a game changer.
You know who's better at press conferences than Jay Monahan? Is Scottie Scheffler. Dan, I think we have this clip, Alex.
Mark Schlabach.
Mark Schlabach got absolutely fucking dummied by Scottie Scheffler. I'm going to call him Scott Scheffler for this one, because you ask a dumb question, you're going to get a dumb response. Can we please play this clip from the Tour Championship? I mean, it is out of control, this question.
It's very like Yale rebound. How does Yale out rebound Baylor energy? Remember that answer where the guy's like, well, there's
a hoop and you shoot the ball and you got to jump up and you got to try and catch it.
Scottie, what happened on that shot out of the bunker? I shanked it.
Why did you shake it?
So there's the club, like there's the straight part of the face, and then over here is the hosel. And on that one specifically, I caught too much of that part of the face. And that's why I went to the right. So it's shaped kind of, a little curve. And then, so like if I hit the straight part, it's going to go that way,
no,
straight.
I get that.
Then if I hit this part, it's going to come, towards you.
I know the
No,
season.
I get that. I mean, he goes, "Why did you shank it? Why did you shank it?" That's the worst question ever asked in a press conference. What's the answer supposed to be?
We always talk about, I remember in journalism school, one of the things that they taught you was like, the question that you don't ask is like, why did you play bad? Basically, it's like, well, I tried to play good, and I'm a professional, so I practice this stuff. And, sometimes us being imperfect humans, it doesn't really go the way. There's no answer to that question. Like, why'd you shank it? It's like, well, I fucked up. Like, what do you want me to say?
Right. And it's like, dude, if I knew, if I had an actual logical answer to that question, then I wouldn't have shanked it, because I would have just not done the stuff that led to me shanking it. I don't know.
Maybe you can ask, like, "Hey, Scottie, was there something about that lie, or like, were you trying to do something in that bunker that caused you to hosel that out? Like, did something else happen, or was it just a shank?" And then he could just be like, "It was just a shank. I just hoseled it. I don't know what else."
He
to tell you."
presented hosel. He presented hosel.
Yeah.
He put himself. That journalist put himself in a position where his follow-up question was, "Why did you shank it?" And then you just got to be like, "I'm the dumbest fucking person on planet Earth."
I love at the end. He just goes, "Yeah, I know, I get it." Because he goes, "If I hit it on the straight part,
that was
If I hit it on the flat part, it's going straight." So
that was
shout out to Scottie for that.
That part was when Scottie was really trying to hammer home, like, "I am shitting on you right now." When he's like, "Yeah, so if I hit the straight part," the guy's like, all right, fuck, get it, okay.
And that's a guy that just won a ton of money, who is still giving you that. Like, he didn't have any time for that question. That's an answer from a guy that just lost game 7 in overtime.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's a guy who just finished off a $62 million year and won the tour championship. Like that. That's how dumb that question was. That
the Baylor guy. The Baylor guy, they had just lost. You got Scottie so like pissed off at how dumb that question was that you got it after he won $62 million.
He literally just had a full season of hitting the greatest golf shots of the year. And then one guy's like, "How about that bunker shot where you shanked it?" And he's like, "This fucking asshole."
That was insane.
What a year from Scottie. I mean, also just impressive. It's we kind of talked about it last week with the net scoring, and I know the format. We just did a whole show shitting on the format, but I really do think like what you saw out of Scottie down the stretch. Even Collin said it. Collin was like, "I got there. I got within a couple," and then he made 3 birdies in a row. And I really do think like that's really what separates golf tournaments. It's not necessarily that he started with a couple shot lead. It's not that like it was staggered. It's just that like when things do get tight, which they almost inevitably do in every golf tournament at some point, it might not be tight at the end, but like at some point on Saturday during the middle part of the round, or on Sunday or whatever, it does get to a point where it's like, okay, a 2-shot swing here. We could have everybody tied or whatever. And then he just answered the fucking bell every time and just hit the best shots, made birdies, separated himself, and he did that all year. And it's like, talked about it kind of at the Players Championship, how that was maybe the coolest finish of any tournament of the whole year. And it was like Scottie Scheffler was, you weren't sure who's going to win, who barely gets it done over the other people, like the best player throughout the entire year. And so I just think him delivering not just by consistency and all those number 1 ranked stats for the year that Dan read off, but also just like being able to do that in the biggest moments when other people can't is fucking incredibly impressive.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you win 7 tournaments, or it goes down as an official win too, which just like, wow, I don't understand how that goes down as an official win. But it goes, so I guess he won 8 tournaments, or no, 7 plus the Olympics. But you're going to win in different ways, and I think he won in a lot of different ways. I mean, we saw at the Masters, it was like Homa, Morikawa, they were all kind of there, and he just kind of separated himself on the last stage, just kind of last man standing. But then the Olympics and the Players, 2 of his signature wins, that probably the second and third biggest win that he had on the year, he was way back, and he came out of nowhere and shot a low one on Sunday. So it wasn't just like he was out front all year. He really played some of his best golf when he needed it the most. And I hope that guy gets a good rest. He deserves a vacation after this year. I think he said yesterday that he feels like he's lived like a whole lifetime this year. Scottie Scheffler going into this year was already the number 1 player in the world, and he already, but he is I'd be surprised if he doesn't win the Player Impact Program this year. Be the first year that someone not named Tiger or Rory has won it. But it feels like Scottie was really the story of golf this year, between not just but with having the kid and the gold medal and obviously the arrest. It really was the year of Scottie. So fitting to see him win in the end.
Shout out to the TaylorMade Spider putter. I was looking at somebody was kind of combing through and like, what was the big difference for Scottie? It's like, clearly he was number one last year. He had 3 wins last year, but this was a whole nother level. He vaulted into a different jet stream. And there was that comment that rory-mcilroy made where he was like, I really think he should just go to a mallet putter. Everybody should kind of go to a mallet. He went to the TaylorMade Spider putter. He's also got, who's the putting coach? Is it
Phil Kenyon?
Phil Kenyon that he kind of works with. So he focused on his putting. He got that TaylorMade Spider in there. And all of a sudden he's won 7 times, including the Olympics, and had the best year really since 2007 Tiger, statistically, and shot the lowest scoring average, or posted the lowest scoring average throughout the entire year ever, as Dan said off the top. So shout out to TaylorMade, the Spider putter. Thing's magical.
The thing is magical. It was interesting. Also, we saw, these guys kind of crack me up with like, they try to be so coy with their injuries. Like talking about it is going to make it like real, and they don't want to talk about it. But like LIV Golf is not having knee surgery now. And it's like, yeah, like we could see that you couldn't bend down on your right knee the entire year. Like, it's pretty obvious, but he's like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Denny McCarthy on our show, I was asking about his hip. He's like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. It's like, I know you can see your hip you're clearly injured. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that must be like a mental game coach thing where like, if you start talking about, so some things that you're not like, you start to feel weakness. I don't know. Jordan Spieth had wrist surgery. So a few different injuries to some top guys.
I met a guy, and I don't know what just made me think about this. I met a guy in the elevator of our hotel in DC, and wearing a golf polo, just normal looking guy, and he had his wife and kid next to him. And he goes, Frankie, like, I'm going to come to the show tonight. I was like, oh, awesome. He's like, yeah, my wife and kid, they're going to stay upstairs. Like, he can't come to a rock show. And he like laughed and like kind of punched me in the arm. I was like, all right. Right. So we're all going to the 6th floor. So we're going to do this. Fantastic. And he goes, yeah, we just got back from Shanghai. We just got our visas. We're rolling. Right. Got my wife a visa. She's here. I'm like, I'm learning a lot about you. And he goes, guess what my son's name is? And I said, I don't know. He goes, his name is Tiger Woods. And I laughed. He goes, no, seriously. I named him Tiger Woods is his name. So then he goes, guess what my name is? And I said, what is it? He goes, Ben Hogan. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. What's happening? He's like, yeah. He's like, we got all the visas. We're like, we just set up the name. So I'm Ben Hogan, and this is my son Tiger Woods is the name. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. And then we got out of the elevator and we just walked towards our rooms, which were right next to each other, which was great. But it was I had never in my life. I mean, I guess if you could just like pick a name, like why not just pick
so
Tiger
is it like
Woods?
Tiger Woods' last name? Is Woods the middle name?
I didn't ask for identification, but that's what he told me is his name was Tiger Woods and his name was Ben Hogan. Now I don't know if it
I get not wanting to ask for identification, but in that moment I think you have to. I think you have to be like, let's see those things, because
unless his name was Ben Hogan, like just by accident or just by coincidence, and then he's just like, I'm going to name my son because I just get to choose it, like they're becoming an American citizen.
I don't get it.
Can you pick a new name?
That's bizarre to me.
I think you can. Yeah,
I don't know that you can just pick your name. Like when you get your visa, you can't just. Can you?
Yeah, of course you can. What do you mean? People do that all the time. Their name is like like
Tom Kim.
A name in there like
not Tom.
Yeah. Right, like
Birdie
there's no
Kim
way
back in the day.
There's no way his name was Tom. They didn't name him Thomas. There's no way. He's just like, yeah, my name's Tom now. It's probably on his like identification if he wants it.
Weird. That's really interesting. I never thought about that. You could just they just look at you with a blank,
there was rumors
blank line and they're like,
Dad,
what do you want?
There's rumors that like my grandfather's name wasn't actually Frank in Italy, but my dad puts that to bed quickly. That it was like Franco or like Francisco or something
Francesco.
like that.
Francesco Molinari.
And then when he came to Ellis Island, there was like Frank.
All right, I get maybe a little variation, but you can just completely go off into the wilderness and be like, I'm Tiger Woods.
You could change your name. I could change that. Anyone could change their name. Dave wanted people to change. People wanted Dave wanted people to change their name to Frankie Borelli for pizza reviews. Remember that? Chef Donnie almost legally changed his name to Frankie.
Robbie Fox almost changed
Weren't
his
we-
name to Super Bowl because they were trying to promote the Super Bowl.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I
We weren't
guess.
allowed to say
I didn't
Super
know.
Bowl.
I guess I just didn't know. Yeah, I guess I just don't know much about
Maybe
that
his middle
world,
name
but-
is Woods, Tiger Woods, whatever. You know,
And there's
TW.
no way this guy was fucking with you. This was legit.
no,
Okay.
Yeah. Super nice guy, like
Yeah.
unbelievably nice. Came to the show, said he had a great time. Saw him in the hotel after again. After the show,
Ben
he said he
Hogan?
had a great, wonderful time. Ben Hogan.
I think
I'm
the
not like
last name
doxing.
I would.
That's
I think the last name I would want on
That's a
Earth
famous
is
name.
Tiger Woods. I would not want my name to be Tiger Woods.
maybe I can't say all this. I mean, this is their names. I don't know.
No, I think
It's just like super famous names. I don't
I'll
know.
tell you what,
It's
if they
like-
try to Google
type
these
Google
guys,
Ben
they're
Hogan.
going to
Listen,
get
You're
different
not finding
results.
this
Listen.
guy. You're not finding this guy.
exactly right. That's exactly right. Like
Good
you're I'm
luck
not you're,
finding these
it's
you're
just a
not finding
LinkedIn
them.
profile of this guy. Is like
Yeah,
the first
right.
thing that pops up.
All right, let me. Somebody listening
not
to the
finding
show,
them.
somebody listening to the show is like, all right, I'm going to track down this guy and his son. First thing he does, goes to Google. Second thing he does, in the search bar, types in Tiger Woods.
Tiger.
It's going to take a while for him to find this guy.
See where
Yeah.
this takes
Tiger
me
Woods,
here.
but not that one. Yeah, you'll get there right away.
Right.
That's fucking
Uh,
hilarious. Wild.
Frankie, why don't you shoot that basketball?
Yeah, I actually made one the other day. I don't
You
think
did.
anyone else was on here. I think it was Trent and myself. So I did sink one.
I
and
was
it
there
felt
when you
great.
made it. I was there when you
Oh,
made
we
it.
were there.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Let's start a run here.
Showed
Let's start
my
a
feet.
streak.
I showed my feet and people tweeted it at me. It wasn't good. Oh, the bank was not open.
No,
Bank
Sunday.
was not open. Labor Day.
You went for the Tim
Holiday.
Duncan. Yeah, it's a holiday.
The holiday.
Labor Day bank is not open. Yeah, that's fun. That's good. I like shooting hoops.
Guys, the dog days of summer are finally coming to an end, meaning cooler temperatures are on the way. I have to say, when we played golf yesterday morning, it was like in the mid 70s throughout the entire morning as we played golf. And that's just not what summertime is about in Missouri or even back in Arizona. I've been in St. Louis throughout the entire weekend. Hot, humid. We had a couple days here where it was like 90, feels like over 100, and then bang, all of a sudden you can feel that fall is creeping in, autumn is creeping in with the changing seasons fast approaching. We got to tell you about our favorite pants from Peter Millar, the signature sateen 5-pocket pant. Bridges the gap between casual and sophisticated, meaning you can dress them up or down with ease. We love all the different 5-pocket pants from Peter Millar, and they just make Frankie's exclusively a pant guy, so he's back in on these ad reads now. He's going to be fired up.
It's the best.
Peter Millar makes excellent pants.
It's the best. I love my Peter Millar pants. I wear them everywhere. You can wear them to a wedding or a golf course. Like, they're so nice. You can put a nice sport coat over them. People are like, whoa, look at those. They come in all amazing different colors. They're great. And I get sometimes, like, I'll even bring them. I'll get them like tailored and tapered, and like you just feel like you're wearing something fucking real nice. They're just so comfortable. I could sleep in them.
It's September. It's September. You know, the weather's starting
Show
to
a little
change. It's
ankle.
nice. The worst is over. The worst is over. You can really start dressing in the fall.
I know summer's great. I know shorts and all that's all fun and games, right? Showing your thighs, childish stuff. But it's like, at the end of the day, like, you could really get going on fall clothing. Layers, vests, pants, everything. It's like clothes were made to be longer.
One of the videos you guys did on the RV trip, you were wearing like a zip up over a hoodie. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
Frankie's busting
Damn.
it out on the course.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, bro. This is my time to shine right now. This is my time to shine.
They've got great colors in the sateen 5-pocket pant. I have a pair of olive green ones they sent me that I'm going to be flexing on wearing a lot this fall. So go check them out. Go to petermillar.com/foreplay. You can shop the signature sateen as well as the rest of Peter Millar's lineup. That is petermillar.com/foreplay.
Oh, before we go, I mean, it's a dampener and really sad to talk about at the end, but we have to speak about, just because it affected me. I'm sure it affected all of you guys so much. Johnny-Gaudreau, his brother Matthew-Gaudreau, I mean, these things like this happen. Kobe Bryant, like these like shocking stories when a star athlete who's not supposed to pass away, like these guys are supposed to live forever. When something like this happens, and this story, the more that you learn about it, I like couldn't go on with my day. I don't know how you guys like learned about it or got affected by it, but like for me, it's like, holy shit, man! Like life is so fragile. No, you could be doing the right thing. You could be on top of the world, and the next moment everything can just go. And it's just like I can't. I just my thoughts and prayers have been so heavy with that family, the mother, the father, the sister, the wives, anyone that's ever been associated with them, Kevin Hayes, like just like the circle that where this branches out to, just like I can't even wrap my head around it. And it's just like, yeah, it's I really I haven't felt anything like this in a long, long time. It's been really, really tough.
Yeah, I echo that, and you're spot on. Like I think it affected me dramatically, and then getting together later that because Friday is kind of when Friday morning everybody found out, and then Friday afternoon was sort of the beginning of the long weekend. So a bunch of people were kind of getting together for the first time, and nobody could go 3 minutes without seeing each other without being like, dude, my heart is broken for that family and everybody, whether they're hockey people, not hockey people, it didn't matter. The way that it went down is so senseless. It's like it's infuriating. It's sad, but I'm with you, Frankie. It was one of those that you're just going to remember forever, sort of how you felt, and to have people that you've never met learn of them passing and have it affect you that much is very rare. And all the stories that have come out since we played golf Friday with Robert Thomas from the St. Louis Blues, who is buddies with him. And when we first saw him show up, he was like, I had the worst morning of all time. I've been absolutely in one. And he was telling story after story of Johnny-Gaudreau and how he was just the best dude of all time, being out in Calgary with him. And so it was like getting this kind of visceral connection to it from him. I'm with you, man. It was about as heartbreaking of a news that you could possibly hear, and yeah, just sending all the thoughts and prayers to that family because that's as bad as it gets.
Yeah, it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. Drunk driving, like just getting so like impatient. It's just you like want to scream out loud for how dumb you could possibly be. I've just been so
They
angry.
arrested the guy. They made an arrest. Is that right?
Yeah, but like the maximum that he can serve is 10 years. It's just like it's so sickening. The whole every day that I learn more about this, I get more mad and upset. And I know that's not the way you're supposed to live your life because it could go like that. But it's just I'm like right now, it's just I can't get my brain off it. I can barely sleep like thinking about it. It's just it's like I'm like in it right now. It's just how do we not have? If I went to Congress and I said no car can start unless you blow into the breathalyzer that you end up having to do if you end up like driving drunk or whatever, right, to start your car, who would be on the other side of that? Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Who would be like, no, we want free will. We want to be able to like do what we want. Like, what person would argue that that we can't start the cars unless we just blow into it? Because you're still going to have assholes that like the sober person blows into the thing for them. They start the car, but now you have a sober person complying with a drunk person like that. Now you just have a bunch of psychopaths that are in the car just to get this thing home. So it's like, if I became president tomorrow, I think that'd be the first thing I do. We have people dying senselessly because Ubers are so easy to get. Like, in what world are we doing this still? How do we not have a thing where you can't start the car unless you blow into a little fucking thing that says, you're good to go, let's go? That's not like communist. That's not taking away your free will. That's just saving lives.
Yeah, I struggle to see any downside on that one.
Yeah.
Like it's more like money to like install them for the car companies. I don't know.
Tough
your
shit.
Car,
it's
the car companies. Your cars are being used as like weapons, like of mass destruction. This like, don't you want to stop that? Fuck, man. God damn, that thing killed me. So I don't know.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
You can go around in circles and circles. The world's never gonna be perfect. We're never gonna solve every single issue, but man, thoughts and prayers, guys. Like that's just it's gonna be tough. Like this hockey season's gonna be tough because Matthew Gaudreau was in the Islanders. He was in the Islanders. He was on the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. Like I even knew him when they got him. It was like, oh, we got a Gaudreau. He just found out that his wife was pregnant this year. She's due in December. It's like, oh, I can't even like think. So, man, just sad. Really, really sad.
Yeah, I'm with you. That one hurt about as bad as it possibly could. It's insanely sad. The more that comes out, the family members posting stories and so it keeps hitting home. But yeah, thoughts and prayers are with that family as much as they possibly could be.
Johnny
And
Hockey.
hockey
He played
season's
the
gonna be
game
tough.
he played the game so incredibly exciting that they actually named him Johnny Hockey. Like that he embodied everything you wanted in a superstar. That was his nickname in the NHL. Like the sport was his nickname. You know what I mean? Like that's how fucking incredible this guy was at the sport. He made it look so effortless. His iconic, like the dip in, like he was going to go crash the net and then go around and do the wraparound. Like he had his own signature move. Oh my God. I can't.
Horrendous. Everyone just hug your people.
Oh yeah.
Never, just hug your people.
That was the sentiment when we were in Philly, we were in DC, we were all talking about it, and like even like I was with my dad and my mom, they all came. It's just like everyone just when things like this happen, you just get like closer with the people that are around you. You know what I mean? And it's sad that it takes stuff like this to really like make like put life into perspective. But yeah, again, I just want to end it just thoughts and prayers with the whole family. I mean, sad.
Yeah, horrible. All right. Somber note there at the end, but you're absolutely right, Frankie. Had to talk about that. That was as brutal as it gets. All right. Hug your loved ones. Don't do dumb shit. Be smart out there. It's not worth it. It's never worth it. So you can use it as a reminder to just be smart. It's not that difficult. It's not worth the horrific possible results that can happen. So hug your loved ones. I think that's probably a good way to wrap it up at this point. And
yeah, I think so. I think
we'll
that's
come
right.
back per usual on Thursday. I know we did a lot of promo at the top, but reminder, we do got some great videos coming out this week. We got new merchandise launching and all that good stuff. So big thanks to everybody who listens, as always, supports us, our sponsors, our merchandise team, getting everything fired up. And we'll be back for a new show on Thursday. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit hard.
Hit it hard.